Colombia or Argentina? Two of Latin America's most vibrant countries, both rich in culture, food, and passion. But right now, they're living two very different stories. Colombia's economy has held steady. Inflation's under control, the peso's relatively stable, and life here runs at a predictable pace. Meanwhile, in Argentina, the peso's been in freefall. Inflation has topped 100%, and everyday life feels like a race to spend your money before it loses value. But that might be changing. A recent bailout, reportedly worth up to $40 billion, with backing from the US and IMF, could give Argentina a second wind and finally stabilize its economy. So today, we're putting these two Latin powerhouses head-to-head across 10 categories: cost of living, safety, healthcare, visas, taxes, and more, to find out which country is actually the better choice for expats in 2025 and 2026. Hey guys, I'm Matt, the Americano, and I help you figure out how to actually make the move abroad. Whether it's visas, taxes, or the realities of day-to-day life overseas, I've got you covered. If you like these country comparisons, hit that subscribe button. I've got more of them coming every week. Also check the links in the description. The Passport, my free newsletter that breaks down expat strategies, cost of living data, and even updates like this Argentina bailout. Brokor, my free newsletter for international real estate and business opportunities. And if you're in Colombia, come join Bogotá Nomads, our growing expat and local English-speaking community. All right, let's dive into Colombia versus Argentina and see whether South America's calm and consistent country still beats its unpredictable but passionate neighbor. Let's start with the one thing everyone wants to know before moving abroad: how far your money actually goes. In Colombia, the cost of living has stayed steady over the last few years. You can live comfortably on $1,000 to $1,500 a month, even in major cities like Medellin or Bogotá. A modern one-bedroom apartment rents for $400 to $800, a full restaurant meal runs around $4 to $6, and local groceries are inexpensive. The Colombian peso has had its ups and downs, but inflation's under control and most people can plan their budgets with confidence. Argentina, on the other hand, is a completely different story. It's one of the cheapest countries in the world right now if you're earning in US dollars. Apartments in Buenos Aires rent for as little as $300 to $400 a month. A steak dinner for two might cost $10 to $15, and public transportation is practically free. But the reason it's cheap is also the problem. Inflation has been over 100%, and prices can change weekly. What costs you $5 this week could cost $6 next week. There's also the ongoing bailout deal, roughly $40 billion in potential support from the US and the IMF. If it succeeds, the peso could stabilize and some of these extreme price gaps could start to narrow. Who wins this round? Argentina, for now. If you earn in US dollars, Argentina feels like a luxury country on a budget. But if you earn locally or need long-term price stability, Colombia is the safer bet. Argentina gives you the short-term bargain. Colombia gives you the long-term peace of mind. One of the biggest advantages of living in Colombia is how connected it is. Bogotá's El Dorado International Airport is one of the best connected in Latin America, with direct flights to Miami in about 3.5 hours and New York in around 5 or 6. You can be back in the US before dinner, and there are non-stop routes to Canada, Mexico, Central America, and most South American cities, as well as Europe. For Americans or Canadians who want to stay close to home or just know they can get back quickly, Colombia is about as convenient as it gets. Argentina, meanwhile, is much further south, and you feel it when you look at flight times. From Buenos Aires to Miami, you're looking at roughly 9.5 hours non-stop, or closer to 12 hours to reach the East Coast with connections. Direct flights exist, but there are fewer of them and ticket prices tend to be higher. If you're based in North America, Argentina feels like another world, and that's part of the appeal for some people, but it also means long flights and higher travel costs when you want to visit home. Who wins this round? Colombia. If being able to jump on a plane and see family without crossing a hemisphere matters to you, Colombia wins by a wide margin. Argentina's isolation gives it a romantic, faraway feel, but when it comes to convenience, Colombia is just easier to reach. Visas can make or break your long-term plans abroad, and both countries handle them very differently. Colombia has one of the most flexible systems in Latin America. If you work remotely, the digital nomad visa lets you stay for up to 2 years with proof of just $1,000 a month plus or minus based on fixed current exchange rates in foreign income. Retirees can qualify for the M11 retirement visa with only around $800 to $1,000 a month in pension income, and investors can apply for residency by purchasing roughly $90,000 in Colombian real estate. Each option is clear, transparent, and relatively quick to process. Permanent residency is possible after 5 years, and while citizenship takes time, Colombia's process is well defined. Argentina, by contrast, offers one of the simplest paths to residency in the region and one of the fastest routes to citizenship anywhere. Temporary residency is available if you can show a steady monthly income of around $2,000 a month. And once you've lived there for 2 years, you can apply directly for a citizenship. No investor requirements, no massive bank deposits, just proof you can support yourself. That's incredibly appealing for people looking for long-term security or a second passport in record time. Who wins this round? Argentina. Colombia makes it easy to stay, but Argentina makes it easy to belong. Its residency process is straightforward, and the 2-year citizenship window is one of the shortest in the world. If your goal is to put down roots and maybe hold dual nationality, Argentina clearly takes the win here. Taxes are one of those details most people don't think about until it's too late, and then they realize how much it matters. In Colombia, the rules are clear and predictable. If you spend more than 183 days in the country within a 12-month period, you become a tax resident and owe taxes on your worldwide income. That sounds intimidating, but the system is reasonable. Pensions are exempt up to about $12,000 a month. U.S. Social Security isn't taxed, and business income earned abroad is generally reported but not double taxed if you qualify under Colombia's treaties. It is a system built for compliance, not confusion, as long as you stay organized and use a good accountant. Argentina, on the other hand, is less predictable but often easier on the wallet in practice. Technically, residents pay tax on their worldwide income after living there for a year. In reality, enforcement is inconsistent, and because inflation devalues the peso so quickly, the effective tax burden can be much lower than it looks on paper. For example, you might owe tax in pesos that lose 10% of their value every month, which means the real cost of that tax keeps shrinking before you even pay it. Add in a long history of under-enforcement for foreign income, and many expats find the system lenient as long as they keep clean local records. Who wins this round? It's a tie. Colombia wins for structure and clarity. You always know where you stand. Argentina wins for flexibility, and thanks to inflation, a strangely soft tax impact for foreigners earning in dollars. If you value predictability, Colombia is your pick. If you value loopholes that kind of appear on their own, Argentina might quietly win your heart. Healthcare is one of those things you don't really think about when everything's going right, but it's the first thing that matters when something goes wrong. Colombia has one of the best healthcare systems in Latin America, often ranked above the US in global studies. Residents can join the public EPS system for around $25 to $30 a month, which covers doctor's visits, hospital care, and prescriptions. Most expats also add private insurance, usually $60 to $150 a month, to access faster appointments and English-speaking doctors. Cities like Medellin, Bogotá, and Bucaramanga have internationally accredited hospitals, and medical tourism here is growing fast because the costs are low and the quality is high. Argentina, though, takes a completely different approach. It's universal and almost free. Public hospitals are open to everyone, including foreigners, and treatment is either free or costs very little. That sounds too good to be true, but it's real. The catch is that public hospitals can be crowded and slow, especially in Buenos Aires. Most middle and upper income Argentines and most expats still choose private coverage, which runs about $50 to $100 a month and provides excellent care. Private clinics in Buenos Aires, Cordoba, and Mendoza are modern, efficient, and staffed with well-trained doctors. Who wins this round? Argentina. Colombia's healthcare is structured and high quality, but Argentina's universal system gives everyone access, regardless of residency or income, and that's hard to beat. You might wait longer for an appointment, but the fact that you can walk into a hospital and get treated without worrying about the bill makes Argentina a quiet powerhouse when it comes to healthcare. Safety and stability can mean two different things. One is about personal security, whether you feel comfortable walking around. The other is about the economy and whether tomorrow feels predictable. In Colombia, the headlines from decades ago still linger in people's minds, but the reality today is very different. Cities like Medellin, Bogotá, and Cartagena are safe for expats who use common sense. Petty theft is still the main issue, phones, wallets, or bags in crowded areas, but violent crime against foreigners is rare. Politically, Colombia has been remarkably stable stable over the last 20 years. It's not perfect, but the institutions work and the country continues to modernize without major disruptions. Argentina, on the other hand, feels safe in a completely different way. Street crime is minimal compared to many Latin American countries, and violent crime is rare. You can walk through Buenos Aires or Mendoza at night and generally feel at ease, but the instability shows up in the economy, not the streets. Strikes, protests, and sudden price spikes are part of everyday life. It's the kind of instability that doesn't make you afraid to go out, but makes you think twice before opening a savings account. Who wins this round? Colombia. Argentina might feel safer day to day, but Colombia's overall stability, both political and economic, gives it the edge. If you want predictability and consistency, Colombia is the more dependable choice. Argentina's peaceful, but you never quite know what's going to happen next, and that uncertainty eventually affects everyone. When it comes to language, both Colombia and Argentina speak Spanish, but they might as well be two different dialects of the same language. In Colombia, Spanish is clear, neutral, and widely considered one of the easiest to understand in the Spanish-speaking world. People speak at a moderate pace, pronounce words fully, and are patient with foreigners who are learning. If your goal is to become fluent, Colombia is one of the best classrooms you'll find. It's also the version of Spanish most used by language schools, TV networks, and international Spanish exams. Argentina, on the other hand, speaks Rioplatense Spanish, and it's beautiful but unique. The accent has an Italian rhythm. The double L and Y sound like SH, and they use vos instead of tu. The vocabulary is colorful, the slang is endless, and conversations often sound like music with attitude. For a new learner, it can feel like starting from scratch, but once you adjust, it's one of the most expressive versions of Spanish anywhere. When it comes to English proficiency, though, Argentina has the edge. It consistently ranks among the top English-speaking countries in Latin America, with strong language education and a population that frequently interacts with global media and business. In Colombia, English is improving, especially among younger professionals and in big cities like Bogotá and Medellin, but overall, fewer people speak it confidently, particularly outside urban areas. Who wins this round? Argentina. Colombia wins for clearer, easier Spanish, but Argentina's stronger English proficiency makes day-to-day communication simpler for expats. If you want to learn Spanish, Colombia is the best classroom. If you want to get by speaking English, Argentina will make that easier. Weather is one of those things you can't control, but it shapes your entire lifestyle, from what you wear to how you feel every day. In Colombia, the climate is defined by altitude, not seasons. Because the country sits on the equator, you don't get winter or summer, you get consistency. In Medellin, it's about 75 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. That's why it's called the City of Eternal Spring. Bogotá is cooler, around the high 60s every day, with misty mornings and sweater weather most of the year. And the coast in Cartagena or Santa Marta, it's tropical and hot, perfect for beaches, but humid year-round. In Colombia, you basically choose your ideal weather and move there. It's that simple. Argentina gives you the full range of seasons and climates. In Buenos Aires, summers can be hot and humid, often in the 90s, while winters cool down to the 50s. Go south to Patagonia and you'll find snow-covered mountains and icy winds. Head north to Salta or Mendoza and it's warm, sunny, and dry most of the year. You can ski in July and drink Malbec on a vineyard terrace the next day. Who wins this round? It depends on what you want. If you prefer consistent, comfortable weather that never changes, Colombia is unbeatable. But if you miss real seasons, the warmth of summer and the chill of winter, Argentina offers that variety in one country. And because they're on the southern hemisphere, remember, their seasons are opposite from the northern hemisphere. So winter happens in what we call the summer in the US and vice versa. So Colombia wins for climate comfort. Argentina wins for climate diversity. Culture is where both of these countries truly shine, just in completely different ways. Colombia is vibrant, social, and alive in every sense of the word. It's a country built on warmth, connection, and rhythm. There's always music, salsa, vallenato, reggaeton, and people don't need a reason to celebrate. Coffee culture is strong. Social life revolves around friends and family, and it's easy to meet people who genuinely want to talk and share their time with you. Cities like Medellin and Bogotá are modern and full of creative energy, while towns like Salento or Barichara offer a slower, peaceful pace surrounded by nature. In Colombia, life feels spontaneous. There's always something happening somewhere. Argentina, on the other hand, feels like Europe got dropped into South America and decided to stay for the wine. Buenos Aires is all cafe terraces, bookshops, tango, and late-night conversations that last until 2 a.m. There's a refined culture culture around food and art, opera houses, film festivals, and some of the best wine and beef in the world. But it's also passionate. Football isn't a sport here, it's a religion. And a political discussion can turn into a 3-hour debate fueled by espresso and hand gestures. Life here has sophistication, intensity, and a love of expression that feels both artistic and human. Who wins this round? It's a tie. Colombia wins for energy and friendliness. It's lively, welcoming, and full of heart. Argentina wins for sophistication and culture. It's intellectual, expressive, and deeply rooted in tradition. They're both incredible, just tuned to very different frequencies. Moving abroad is easier when you have people who understand what you're doing, and both countries have growing expat scenes, but they attract very different crowds. Colombia's expat community has grown fast over the last few years. Cities like Medellin, Bogotá, and Cartagena are now magnets for digital nomads, entrepreneurs, and retirees looking for affordable living and a modern lifestyle. There's a strong sense of energy and optimism. Most expats here feel like they're part of something new. You'll find co-working spaces filled with remote workers, weekend meetups, and communities that mix locals with foreigners. And here in Bogotá, I've built a group called Bogotá Nomads, open to both expats and local English speakers, and it's growing every week. The vibe in Colombia is still fresh. You're blending into local culture rather than hiding from it. Argentina has had an expat community for decades, especially in Buenos Aires. You'll find Europeans who moved here long ago, digital nomads taking advantage of the exchange rate, and retirees who came for the food, art, and slower pace of life. There are international schools, meetups, language exchanges, and well-established expat neighborhoods. It's easy to integrate if you speak Spanish, but even if you don't, there's already a community waiting. It's less pioneering, more traditional. So who wins this round? Argentina. Colombia's expat scene is exciting and expanding quickly, but Argentina's is larger and more established. If you want structure and a built-in community, Argentina offers that. If you prefer something newer with more room to build connections from scratch, Colombia might be the better fit. All right, let's tally this up. Colombia wins flights and distance, safety and stability, and year-round weather. Argentina wins cost of living, visas and citizenships, language, healthcare, and expat community. The ties are taxes and culture and lifestyle. So what's the takeaway? If you're looking for stability, structure, and predictability, Colombia is the safer long-term choice. It's well-connected, affordable, and consistent. The kind of place where you can build a routine and know what tomorrow looks like. If you're looking for value, vibrancy, and opportunity, Argentina is hard to beat right now, especially if you're earning in US dollars. You'll live incredibly well for less. The people are warm and expressive, and citizenship is one of the fastest in the world. But that value comes with risk. The economy changes fast, and while a recent $40 billion bailout could stabilize the peso, it's too early to know whether it will stick. In short, Colombia is stability. Argentina is possibility. One gives you peace of mind, the other gives you a sense of adventure, and maybe a little adrenaline with your stay. So which one would you choose, Colombia or Argentina? Drop your pick in the comments. I read every one. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe button as well, and check the links below. The Passport, my free weekly newsletter for expats, nomads, and retirees with cost of living data, visa updates, and insider tips. Brokor, my free newsletter featuring global real estate and business opportunities. Bogotá Nomads, if you're in Colombia, join our growing expat and local English-speaking community. We're already hosting meetups and events. I'm Matt, the Americano, and I'll see you in the next showdown. Take care.